Hello, this is Steve Malone with Compass Effects. Hope you're doing well today and again some good trades. The Aussie dollar the last couple of days has grind higher in this upward channel. A lot of up and down action going on here, and had some traders write me and ask me what my thoughts were about where the Aussie dollar is going. And I've read a number of comments from both Aussie dollar bears and Aussie dollar bulls. So today I want to share with you what some of the thoughts are, and also to inform you that there's a driver in the market that could potentially push the Aussie dollar higher. So let's take a look at what's going on here. We see this overall channel, this up and down movement, but you can see the higher lows more or less, or the higher highs. Over here you can see slightly lower highs here, even though recently we've had some higher lows. So there's a bit of hidden divergence mixed in with a bit of normal divergence. But the way I look at this is we have an upward channel here and we have a downward channel here. That would suggest that we could have some negative sentiment and roll down. And that is what some of the Aussie dollar bears are looking at in the marketplace right now. Now, if it does come down, I think there's a floor where it may have to come down and test, and it's right in this area here. Is also where the 21-day EMA is at. Typically when the 10-day EMA is above the 21-day EMA, we look for the market to continue to go up. Now, if it does continue to make its push higher, then we look at a potential fib extension from the previous swing high, previous swing low, looking for the 127 to 141.4. We see a push up into this area between the 560 to 580 area. Also, if we step out to the 4-hour chart, we see that there was a high back in early December right around the 580 mark. Now, this is where the Aussie dollar bulls are looking at. They're looking for a potential run up to this level. As long as the market continues making this push up off these lows to the upside, and if it walks the trend line up and breaks above the high point. Today we did a little pop above it, settled back down above this previous high. If we walk on up here and achieve the 127.2, the 141.4, the Aussie dollar bulls are looking for that push higher. Some Aussie dollar bulls with long-term perspectives are looking for a potential move all the way up to 110 during 2013. I think we have a ways to go for that. Now, the Aussie dollar bears, on the other hand, what they see, taking a look at this, is some chart patterns that would suggest that the market could slide back down. If you take a look at this strong move up, the market did come back, fill the gap, and then worked its way back up. Taking a look at this, though, it looks like a double top pattern. Also, going from this high to that low back here, we're reaching up, like today, we reached up to the 786 and kind of had a 786 failure. The market kind of fell back. So not only do we have a double top type pattern to the downside, well, we're also getting up there to some pretty strong retracement levels. When you get up to the 78.6 and the 88.6, some pretty good retracement levels, we see the market potentially push back down. Also, what we see in the Traders Dynamic Index, kind of a pennant type formation that's going on with it. You can see right here coming across here, slightly lower there, and this pushing up a little bit like so to the upside here. Also, if we go out to the daily chart, we can see that there's a slight pennant type pattern forming here, and the top of the pennant or wedge type pattern is right near that 580 577 area. So again, that's where the Aussie dollar bulls are looking for a push. And notice that the 465, where the 21-day EMA, it sits pretty much right in the middle of this wedge. So if we break down, then we see a possible push all the way back down here to the 400 level, maybe even a test of this trend line, which puts us somewhere, if I get it set right, the trend line is going to put us somewhere in the ballpark right now of about 370 area. Now, consider some of the fundamentals of the marketplace. One of the fundamentals of the marketplace is, due to the fiscal cliff and the issues with the fiscal cliff and some not so good news coming out of Australia. Recently we've had the trade balance and the retail sales that came out worse than expected. We have some additional news coming out that's going to affect the Aussie dollar. We have Chinese news coming out with their CPI, the PPI numbers. We also have GDP numbers coming out. We have some additional news related to the yen. If we get news from China that is worse than expected or not coming in line with expectations, that could be a strain on the Aussie dollar, and we could see a move out of higher risk assets into fixed assets. Would be a push back or a move back into what we call a safe haven play, and that would be strength into the dollar, and we'd see a move potentially back into the dollar, and that would bring us back down and complete this double top pattern. Now, another thing to consider is we're going into the earnings season. Now, if U.S. companies have made improvements in their overall fiscal standing, we could see better earnings, which would suggest higher equities in the marketplace. Well, with higher equities in the marketplace, we have speculators and institutional investors and traders moving out of safe haven plays into higher risk asset classes, which would be, for instance, buying the Aussie and selling the dollar or selling the yen. And the one thing to look at in that case is to go and look at the Aussie yen. And the Aussie yen's had a phenomenal run as of late. Going out to the weekly chart, you can see over here that it's had 13 weeks very strong movement to the upside. As a matter of fact, we are above a 3-year high going back to March or April of 2011. Now, if you look here, where's it going to? You go back to 2008 and you just run the fibs from top to bottom. We're literally right now just shy of hitting the 78.6 retracement level on the Aussie yen, which would put up around 94. So if the market overall remains risk on, if there's a push in equities around the world and there's favorable reports for Aussie, for the China, for Japan, which are all favorable, if it comes out that way, then that is cause for the Aussie bulls to see a push higher. We'll see the Aussie yen rise, which will be that driver in the marketplace with risk on, and we can see this potential push up to 94. Some are anticipating that the Aussie yen could potentially push all the way back up to 98 or 99 sometime in 2013. We're not too far off of that mark. So if a move higher in the Aussie yen, that could be the driver in the marketplace that could see the Aussie dollar push above this 570 level and then start breaking higher above that. At that point, we'll then get out of this grinding little range that we're in right now, and we'll see that push up in the Aussie dollar. So again, right now as you're trading it, just be aware that there are reasons to trade long, there are reasons to trade short. It has a lot to do with some of the economics in the marketplace. If the market overall sees equities improving, then I would suspect to see the Aussie dollar climb up. It's going to test the 580 mark. Right now, that's the course it's set on. If the 580 breaks, then we push up higher. We'll test the 580, go up to 106 and test that area to push higher. If we see something in the marketplace that sends the market back to safe haven, back to the dollar, if something were to happen related to the fiscal cliff or some other comments from Ben Bernanke or from some other Federal Reserve member or some other circumstance in the marketplace that moves the market to safe haven, then we see a possible test of the 465, and a break of that would be a possible run all the way back down to about the 104 level. So there you have it. Reasons to see the Aussie dollar push higher, reasons to see the Aussie dollar possibly push lower. Be aware of the forthcoming reports for both Australia, China, and Japan. These economic reports will probably dictate the direction of the Aussie dollar in the coming days and weeks. Well, folks, this is Dean Malone with Compass FX. Hope some of this information will help you in your trading. Y'all make it a great day. Get some good trades. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.